Hi, it's Pat Campbell here, and I am reading still this book, Obstacles, The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. And it kind of jives tonight with the training that I heard this morning and about the emotional response in the face of obstacles or objections or no response or whatever else. And I just thought it was very cool to have the training this morning that I heard that talks about, when we're well, let's phrase it this way. Do you ever, when you are building your business online and you're reaching out to people who, about building relationships or asking them if they want to look at your video or just building a rapport and looking to make new relationships, and it just feels like there's crickets out there, like there's nobody answering, there's no response, and you get the feeling of, well, how do I respond to this? What do I do with it? Like, are we really tied to hearing from that person, or can we just let it go and move on and build other relationships, coming back perhaps later, but not getting really hung up on that? And I don't know if that's your experience with the process, but I think it's a fairly common experience. And what is really the best response when we don't get any response? And in many ways, when we are building our business online, that is really an obstacle, because if you're not getting a response, if you're not getting people to engage with you, to watch your videos or have that kind of interaction, it's pretty hard to sponsor people or to find new customers or to build your business, because that's how it works. And so in the training this morning, it was emphasizing the power given to us when we just detach, like simply do not give that any energy whatsoever. We have no idea what the story is on the other side, whether something has happened in the home, or, I mean, we make up all kinds of stories and we don't know. So we have to detach. We can come back to them later. I mean, nothing has happened that's, catastrophic that you can't re-engage at some later point. But being emotionally tied certainly can have catastrophic effect in the fact that all of a sudden we just close, well, I use the word we, and perhaps I should say I, and it's not my common experience, but I know it's a temptation just to sort of shrivel up and say, well, I guess I won't do this anymore, or I'm not getting a response, or whatever. But the correct response is to completely let it go and not let any emotion slow you down, but to just keep on doing your thing. Whatever you do on Facebook and on social media, what's comfortable for you. If you're reaching out to folks and being engaging and sincere and authentic and tons of integrity, just keep moving forward and don't let those emotions rob you of that process. And in reading the chapter here tonight, there's a really interesting analogy. In fact, I used a quote recently by Arthur Ashe, a success quote about moving forward with just whatever you have, realizing from the chapter tonight that he was a black tennis player in the 50s and 60s, having to emotionally, completely mask his response to bad calls, to missed shots, to any number of things that athletes would flare up about. He couldn't afford to do that because it would not be tolerated in the world of segregation at the time. However, he used that energy that he had to succumb here as far as his face and his emotional response was. He took that energy and he redirected it to his physical response, his physical play. The book describes him as being fluid and making hits and shots that were, incredible. And but because he could use that, rechannel and redirect that energy, to another response that just moved his game forward. And can't you see the analogy that as we shut down our emotions, well, I don't mean that I can't have emotions, but not to get so wrapped up in the non-response that we stop doing anything, we can use that emotion, that sense of the world is okay, I'm going to keep moving forward, to continue with our engagement and our reaching out to new people to help make a difference in their lives and give them the option of changing the direction that they can take in their reality. Let me read this brief chapter for you. And he makes the analogy with different athletes. He talks about another black boxer in the same time period. Let's see if I can get his name for you. Joe Louis, who was called the ring robot because, again, he just completely masked his emotions in the ring, in the boxing ring, against his white opponents, because he knew that the crowd would not tolerate any insolence or any anger or any emotion, period, from a black boxer. But he did take that energy and use it in his fight. And of course, he was a remarkable player. So Holiday says here, and I think it just aptly describes what we do as marketers, as people in business who are reaching out to others and in charge of that response to disappointments or in lack of response or whatever else. He says, think of an athlete in the pocket or in the zone or on a streak, and the seemingly insurmountable obstacles that fall in the face of that effortless state. Enormous deficits collapse and every pass or shot hits its intended target, and fatigue melts away. Those athletes might be stopped from carrying out this or that action, but not far from their goal. External factors influence the path, but not the direction forward. So in other words, when you have athletes that are in the pocket, in the zone, or in on streak, emotionally, everything is, tied towards or focused towards what their end goal, to get the touchdown or to get the hockey score or whatever game they're playing, and all the physical effort is moving forward towards getting that target reached. And so to bring that analogy and to bring the training I had this morning together to help us understand this evening in this live that we can redirect our emotional response to the seemingly obstacles in terms of crickets or non-response or no engagement or whatever else, and just rechannel that to continue doing more of the same, to find that ideal customer, that ideal client, that ideal business partner to join us in business, and to realize that we can channel that energy or redirect that energy, whatever word you like to use, to serve us, to fuel our actions. And they may not be so physical in that we're working on social media, but they might be physical in terms of, getting out and doing that in the public marketplace or wherever. So I just want to encourage you with that tonight, that we have that power and control within us, and we can use it really well. It's been done many times before, all throughout the centuries, and for those who get it and continue to do that, they will reach their goals and their target. And so this is Pat Campbell. If this makes sense to you, just thumbs up as always. Happy, fun to see. And we will talk to you again. Bye-bye for now.